Hey guys, today I'm filming a chit chat get ready with me. I did one of these a few weeks back. I'll have that linked up here. And in that video, I was demoing all of my project pan items and a ton of new products to my collection. And for today's get ready with me, this is focused around demoing my Morphe brushes and my Morphe 35O palette. But I also wanted to keep it interesting for you guys, and I will be using all different products than I used in the other get ready with me, except for concealer, face powder, eyeliner, and mascara. Everything else is going to be different from that previous get ready with me. So for primer, I'm going to use the Lorac Porefection Mattifying Face Primer. This is a really nice silicone primer, so it just glides on easily. I'm not going to use a pore filling primer today just because I kind of don't feel like it. And if I was having a really long day and I cared more about how my makeup looked, I probably would use one, but not today. This one's going to work just fine. It definitely feels different than any other mattifying primer I've tried. Usually matte primers are really, really thick, and this one is the exact opposite. But I do like the way it makes my skin feel. For foundation, I'm going to be mixing two different shades of the Hard Candy Glamoflague. I have Porcelain and Fair. There is one shade between these, but it is more pink tone, so I just have these babies and I'm going to mix them together. My friend Amanda sent me the shade Fair a couple months back, which was really nice of her. And I'm going to be mixing these on my little Cosmo Cube acrylic mixing tray. So I am pumping out a little bit of this in the Fair shade, and then just adding a bit of the Porcelain to lighten it. And I love the consistency of this foundation. It isn't too thin or too thick. It is dripping a little bit, but not really fast. It isn't very messy. So just mixing these two together. Hopefully this will be the right shade for me. Then I'm just gonna dot it all over my skin. I just dotted on one half of my face. I like to do half my face at a time. I'm going to blend it out with the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. I use a sponge every single day to blend out my foundation. I never use brushes anymore. Because I use foundations that have such full coverage, I like to use a sponge to help blend them out, to help them from looking too heavy or cakey. That gave me like a medium coverage, so I'm going to take what I have left, pick it up directly on the sponge, and add some more product to my skin. And this is definitely a buildable foundation. I feel like after I do this, I would be able to call it full coverage. So here's no foundation versus 2 layers of foundation. Sorry about the lighting change. I felt like the camera was looking a little bit too cool, so I'm sorry if the lighting looks different now, but hopefully it is looking better. So then I need to make that foundation cocktail for the other side of my skin. So I would say I do 2/3 Fair, 1/3 Porcelain. So now moving on to concealer. To correct under my eyes, I'm taking the Lorac Porefection Concealer in the shade number 2 Light, which is a really fair yellow concealer. And I am just taking this in my inner corner and directly under my eye. I'm not taking it down in the upside down triangle or anything. And I'm going to blend this out with the Morphe E8, which is their detailed contour. It would be nice for contouring, but the reason I bought this is to use to blend out corrector and under eye concealer. And I am just pressing this right under my eye. And just me patting it in is blending it out, which is so nice. And it just makes it really easy and really fast too because of the size of this brush. Like voila, already done. And I wasn't blending, buffing, I was just pressing it into my skin, and it looks flawless, but it still kept really great coverage. So I think this brush works so well for this, and I'm sure it would work really well for contouring. As I said, the size of this is really great, but I just love using this under my eyes. So next for concealer, I'm taking the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair. I am going to do the upside down triangle with this one because it is a light color, and I am using this to highlight my skin. Because that concealer has so much full coverage, I like to start applying it lower on my eye because then I'm going to blend it out and then move up towards right under my lash line so I don't have too much product caked up under there. And I'm going to be using the little mini Real Techniques Miracle Eraser Sponge, I believe. This is just awesome for blending out concealer. So I am just pressing it into my skin, and then I'm just moving up towards the inner corner and right under my lash line. And this just blends out that concealer seamlessly and gives it a really airbrushed, flawless look. I'm going to set my under eyes with the Wet n Wild Fergie Mattifying Take on the Day Powder, and I'm going to apply it with this Morphe E48 brush. And this is just a small tapered powder brush. And I've hit a lot of pans, so I kind of have to load up on the brush, go around it multiple times to get enough product. And I am just going to pat this on my under eyes to set that concealer. And I really do like this brush. I love the shape and the size of it, and also the density of this brush I think is great, but it's still very soft. I think this is a really good quality. So now I'm going to set my entire face with the RCMA No Color Powder. I put it in different packaging, and the Real Techniques Powder Brush. So now that we've done all the complexion products, moving on to cheek products. For bronzer, I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer, and I'm going to apply it with my e.l.f. stippling brush. This is my favorite bronzer for the springtime because it is so nice and light. And as you can see, it does have a decent amount of color payoff on my skin tone. And I'm even using a stippling brush. Imagine if I was using something more dense, how much pigment I would be getting. So I highly recommend this product. I think the formula is so nice and it blends so easily. I really do love this. This scent, sometimes I like it, sometimes it really gets on my nerves because it is so strong, but it's not too bad. Right now I'm kind of liking it. So I'm just going around my hairline, pouncing that, and then I'm gonna take just a little bit under my jawline. I don't like to apply too much because it can look kind of crazy if you don't blend it out nicely. To contour, I'm going with something more warm. This is the Sleek Contour Kit in Light, and I'm going to be applying that with the Morphe M523 brush. I've seen a lot of people use this for bronzer. For me, I can't use it for bronzer because it applies too much product, but this works so well to contour for me. So I just pick up a tiny amount and it fits right in the hollow of my cheek. And this is a brush you can use to apply and blend products. Sometimes you have to go back in with a separate brush. For instance, if you were going to use this Morphe E8, you would probably have to go back in with something else to blend. But this brush applies and blends really, really nicely. For blush, I'm going to use my MAC Mineralize blush in Warm Soul, which is one of my all-time favorites, and I'm going to apply it with this Walmart HD angled blush brush from the Morphe Elite collection. They do have a brush really similar to this. I think this was discontinued, so if you want something similar, I would recommend the Morphe one, but this brush is incredible and perfect for how I like to apply my blush, which would be on the back of my cheekbones. I don't apply blush right to my apples because it makes my face look a little too full and I want my face to look a little more slummed out. So I am just pressing this and blending back and forth on the back of my cheeks. This is the most beautiful bronzy peach color for fair skin. And I know even people with medium skin tend to like this color, but this is absolutely a must-have. I usually love wearing this in the fall time, but if I'm wearing an intense warm eye, this is my go-to blush. Next, I'm going to be using a new product that I recently picked up. You guys are getting a sneak peek because I haven't even officially hauled that yet, which is, I think, my next video or maybe 2 videos from now. So this is the Pixi and Aspyn Ovard Glowy Powder in London Lustre. She had 2 highlights and this is the lighter of the 2. And this is actually super light and it is warm tone. I compare this to the Balm Mary Luminizer, which is my favorite highlight, and this one is even lighter than that, which is pretty impressive. And I'm going to be applying it with the Morphe M510 brush, which is a really nice fluffy highlighting brush that a ton of people on YouTube have talked about. So just swirling this in the product, tapping off a little bit of the excess, and going right onto the top of my cheekbones. And then, just because we're going to be on camera today, add a little bit more. It is definitely a nice glowy powder, and this is just such a good shade for fair skin. And then a little bit more. I feel like a drag queen with all of the cheek products I have going on right now. Just give me 1 second to blend them out. Next, I'm going to blend out all of my cheek products with this Real Techniques blush brush. It's a really great fluffy tulip shape. I use this every single day to blend out my cheek products. Just trying to diffuse some of these harsh lines and diffuse the color a bit because I've got a lot going on, and just gently tapping over the highlight so I don't blend that too much. So now my face is all done. I'm going to do my brows off camera, one eye, and then be back to show you the eye look. So for my brows, I use the same thing as last time, the Benefit Ka-Brow Brow Pomade in the shade number 1. I have already primed my eye with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion Original. Going in with the Morphe 35O palette, I'm taking this shade right here to set my primer. I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild crease brush, blending brush, one of those, and I'm going to set my primer under my brow as well as in my crease. On my lid, I will be using a cream shadow as a base. I think I used this last time. I forgot to choose something different. This is the Laura Mercier Caviar Eye Stick in the shade Rose Gold. I'm just going to draw this right onto my lid. I love the formula of these, they're so creamy. Then just taking my finger and tapping over it a little bit. So from the Morphe 35O palette, I'm going to take this shade on my lid. So that would be row 3, column 6. And I'm going to pack that on my lid with my MAC 239 flat shader brush. I have tried using these metallic shadows with the 242 shader brush, which is synthetic. That one works nice too, but I think this one gives more pigment. And I'm going to just press it on my lid right over top of the Laura Mercier eyeshadow stick. And as you can see, it is a super metallic shade. This color is so pretty. So next from my Morphe palette, I'm going to be taking this shade right here, which is row 1, column 5. And that's going to be my transition color, and I'm going to apply it with my Sigma E40 Tapered blending brush. There are 2 shades in this palette that are super similar. The one that I'm using is a little bit more warm. The other shade is a bit more neutral. So I am just going to buff and blend this as my transition shade, and I'm going to go back in one more time to pick up a little bit more product, and then just go back and forth blending in my crease and right above. Next, I'm going to take this shade right here, which is row 2, column 7. Out of all of the orange shades in this palette, this one is the second lightest, and as I said, I'm just going to apply this in the outer part of my crease, working towards the middle of my eye, and I'm gonna pick up a little bit more. I love using this kind of blending brush with deeper colors because I'm able to pick up a lot of pigment but blend it out at the same time, and it's just really great brush if I'm wanting to build up darker colors. So next I'm going to be taking this shade right here, which is row 2, column 5, and putting this on the inner part of my crease. So as you can see, this is the lightest orange, and this is the second lightest orange in this palette. And I'll be using the same 286 Duo Fiber Taper Blending Brush for that. And I will just take a light amount and apply it on the inner part of my crease, and then blend it to meet that darker orange. Next, I'm going to be taking this shade right here, which is row 5, column 7. And out of all of these darker brown shades, this is the one that is the most warm red. And again, I'm going to be taking that MAC 286, picking up just a small amount of this and buffing it right into the outer part of my crease. Then I'm going to take the same shade with my Sigma E25 blending brush, and I'm going to apply this a little more concentrated right in my outer corner. So through adding all those other colors and blending, you can see the lid color has definitely faded from one eye to the next. You can see this one is a lot more pigmented. So I'm going to pick up that shade on my finger and I am going to press it on the lid. You can see how easily that re-intensifies. And I have to do this with a lot of shadows, so I don't really mind that. So I'm just going to clean up the outer edges to make it look more sharp, apply eyeliner and mascara, and be back to show you what's going on my lips. So here are the eyes all complete. For liner, I use the Jessie's Girl Liquid Liner. For mascara, I use the Benefit They're Real and the Pure Cosmetics Fully Charged Mascara. I do really like the way that this eye look turned out. I think the colors paired so beautifully together. Now moving on to lips, I'm going to be using two ColourPop products. I'm going to line my lips with the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Aquarius. Can you guys see how tiny this is? I have used this so much. So I'm just going to outline my lips with this. This is just my perfect nude lip liner. I love it. And when I said outline, I just meant line my lips. I don't overline or anything. I think that looks terrible, to be honest. And for all over my lips, I'm going to use the ColourPop Ultra Satin Lip in Aquarius. I did buy the Aquarius bundle, and after today, I will have worn all three of those lip products in a video, so I have been able to test them out this month. I love the satin lip formula. This is just so opaque and creamy. I love this formula and this color so much. So out of the Aquarius lippy set, the Ultra Matte Lip is more brown, the Ultra Satin Lip is more peach, and the Glossy Lip is more pink, but they are all like my perfect nudes. I love them so much, and this color I think goes so well with this look. So this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this chit chat get ready with me. Let me know if you enjoyed these kind of videos. I really wanted to feature the Morphe products and then also just show you a bunch of other products in my collection that I'm currently using. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.